Welcome to another ASC CPC training video. This video is the second in the Recipe Programming series. In this tutorial, we'll cover segments, set points, enables, watch groups, and segment messages. In the last video, you created and filled out information for a recipe. The next step is to create segments for the recipe. In CPC, a segment is a defined change in control. Any specific change that you want the system to make during an automatic run would include a segment. In the Virtual Directory section, make sure you have the right recipe highlighted. Next, create a segment by clicking the Add Segment button on the right side of the screen. On the left side of your screen, you can see the recipe parameters. Adjusting these parameters will allow you to take direct control of the equipment. In the first segment of a recipe, you will establish a baseline for the recipe. Start by double-clicking and selecting a control thermocouple from the drop-down. This thermocouple will be the reference thermocouple for CPC to control to. For demonstration purposes, select the low thermocouple. The temperature value is next. The first segment should always be set to current. This gives CPC a starting point for the current temperature in the equipment. The next property is Cascade. Cascade is an advanced feature that allows the air temperature to be set higher at a specific level to drive the part to the correct temperature. This will be covered in detail in a later video. Next is the pressure system. The pressure rate and pressure value are used to ramp pressure to a predefined target. The rate is in engineering units per minute. This will vary depending on the engineering units your system is configured to use. In the case of this equipment, it is set for PSI. For this demonstration, let's set the rate to 5 PSI per minute using the drop-down menu. Next, you will set the value. The value is the set point for the pressure. This is also in PSI. You can either select items from the drop-down menu or you can enter numbers manually. Set the number manually by clicking in the box, then using the keyboard. Next is the vacuum system. This utilizes the same style, rate, and value that pressure uses. This system uses inches of mercury as the engineering unit. Remember to use the minus sign for entry, as the numbers are going to be negative in vacuum. We'll leave the header rate field blank for this tutorial, which will tell the system to drive the vacuum rate as fast as possible. For the header value, enter -30. Next up is the watch groups. Watch groups regulate when a segment ends. You can use watch groups to watch a specific sensor value and then go to the next segment when that value reaches a specific target. Multiple watch groups can be utilized in parallel using and or actions. Using the drop-down, you can see there are several inputs from which to choose. For this segment, select Press. This tells CPC to look at the pressure input. The Criteria property uses logical operators to assign set points. You can utilize greater than, less than, or equal to in conjunction with a target. Next, set the criteria by manually entering greater than 80. Next is the action. The action is what CPC will do when the criteria have been satisfied. Click the property and select Go. The Go statement tells CPC to move on to the next segment. In summary, this watch group configuration will hold the recipe in this segment until the pressure has exceeded the 80 PSI target. Next, move down to the enables. These enables need to be configured in the first segment. These enables turn on the different subsystems on the equipment. Enable the systems relevant to this recipe. The last item to cover in segment 1 is the segment message. You can enter segment message here. The segment message will be displayed on the screens that have run status. Your segment message will be displayed here when CPC is in that segment of the recipe. This message is also displayed on all screens that have run status information on them. That concludes this tutorial. In the next tutorial in the Recipe Programming series, we'll be covering Recipe Control Continued. Thanks for watching.